Hello, this is Everett Pierce with Einstein 314. Today is June the 12th, 2017. It's 3:27 p.m. Arizona time. This is part 2 to our video series, Belief. Belief is a word of action, a verb. Believe. I believe. Okay, belief is the noun. And most people know that. So it's not a means of stepping on your toes, but so belief. In this part 2, let's reiterate a little bit further in terms of our belief. Now, in the part 1, I used the representation, symbolism, and parable of Adam and Eve. Now, with what we are seeing with the terrorist, we use an ideology, extremist. Means they have exaggerated from the original under the banner of God, and to soothe their conscience as if they're doing a honorable job of God. Okay, so let's take it back in this part 2. Now, back in Adam and Eve. Now, as we know in 2017, Eve, no way could have been created by Adam's rib. Okay, so going back to that time, and let's say Adam wasn't able to see what he looks like. Eve wasn't able to see what she looks like. But when they look down and they see their sexual appendage, their gender, is a lot different. And say Adam believed, he has reason to believe that because of what he can actually see of himself compared to her. She has boobs, she has a vagina, he has a penis, but he doesn't have boobs. Okay, so he had reason to believe that he's a lot different than her. Okay, Eve, would it say, for the sake of understanding a parable, believe stands on the principle or the belief. She believes that despite him physically looking different, she doesn't know what she looks like. So when she looks at him, that she believes they look alike. So he tells Eve and says, Eve, I have reason to believe that I look a lot different than you. Even though we haven't been able to see our reflection. And she argues and says, no, I believe we do look alike. Despite what you have there and despite what I have here. And so she would perceive Adam as the disbeliever. Now, if Eve took it upon herself and said, I'm going to kill that disbeliever. He's under the banner of God. Is like, that doesn't seem to be godly. Why would you disbelieve what God create? You want to say you look different than me. As if, like, you're saying at the same token, depending on a person's perception, as if you think you're better than me. And she kills Adam. Now, if she had done that, as we know, is that would start the process of extinction. So basically, Eve taking that action of belief to kill Adam because Adam did not believe or think the same thing. Eve is actually the disbeliever because she's doing actions that's consistent with taking you or the human race to extinction. So you could say another parable is like, if you go out and you hunt down everything that looks like an elephant, and you kill it, you walk every square inch on this planet, and you kill it. Essentially what you're doing is you're bringing extinction to that race, to that life form. Extinction. So when we go back to Adam and Eve in terms of belief, now granted that there should be some water, and as we know with water, is you can see your reflection. off water. It's not like a mirror per se, but it's enough there that you would know there is a difference. Okay, so what did it say back in Adam and Eve's time? He hasn't got his beard yet, and I do. Okay, but when you look out, do you know what you look like? No. But the other person, Eve, would know what you look like. But you wouldn't know what you look like. You know what Eve looks like in terms of her face, but you don't know so vice versa. So you have to start assuming things. Well, when you make assumptions, you have to end it a summary of some kind of a scientific facts. So, like I gave an example earlier with Adam saying, I have reason to believe, since you got boobs, I don't. I have a penis, you don't. I'm stronger, you're not. And taking what they call collective feedback, collective information. And then Adam says, I have reason to believe that I do not look like you. And then say, for the sake of understanding, as a parable, Eve says, I believe we do look alike. Even though we have no means of seeing ourselves. I hold the belief, like our Constitution. We've heard this term. We hold these truths to be self-evident that, okay, as soon as Eve, I give an example, Eve kills Adam. Now, obviously, you need a male and female to bring life. Means by killing Adam, she's actually creating extinction for herself. Okay, now, in event she doesn't kill Adam, and they see the reflection at the same time in the water. So now she looks over and says, now she has an idea what she looks like. She has an idea what he looks like. Now, since she holds these truths, her beliefs, she has to let it down and adopt, hey, I do believe. I have more reason. So reason, we hold these truths to be self-evident. Now she has reached a level of being self-evident. She has more than evidence that to pick up this next truth says, Adam, you're right. We are different. We look different. Okay. And then she would have to let go also that somehow he thinks he's better than me. And vice versa. So it could be perceived both ways. You could perceive yourself being physically stronger to lift a rock, actually as a negative. So it comes down to perception. Now, how does this relate to terrorism? Well, they have a thing this is how we live our life. This is how we believe. This is how we worship God or whatever. It's, if it's under the banner of God, essentially they're giving excuse to do the actions they do. Just like in part 1, I said that I went after John to kill John because of his illogical thinking, wanting to go over to this other village and kill this village of 50 to 100 people, of women and children. Now I have to take it upon myself in self-defense, not for me, because he's not trying to kill me, but he's trying to kill them. I'm about forever life. And because of the premises or the understanding that John is under, and being that he has no rhyme or reason, I have to intervene. Because if I let him go over and kill that village, and not everyone dies, they're going to want to seek out for revenge. And now someone from that village will come over to our village, and it could be someone even bigger than John, to try to kill our village. So that's why we have to act. Doing nothing is far worse, 70-fold worse than doing something. So I use that as a parable. Even if it's a person I see as a friend, It could be my brother in that respect. And I would hate the thought of having to kill him. But if I'm down to those two choices, I've tried other matters to get John to stop and think about what he's doing. And I'm forced to kill him or see 100 people, women and children die. I have to take that choice. I mean, I may have to take my own brother's life because I don't know where his mind is. If extinction has consumed him, being possessed per se, we use the word possessed. If somehow he was tricked or misled, just like we see in the news today, spinning things, turning things, fake news, and with the terrorism out there, they're under false pretenses. This concept of the disbeliever. It's like, okay, you don't believe in us and what we do, so you're the disbeliever. And it's like, and then now it's our job to go out and kill you. As if God needs you to go out and do its job. We put all these characteristics to God and what it can do, and it's powerful and all-seeing and all-knowing. And so, on the same thing, when you say you're going out and do God's work, in that sense, in a roundabout way, you're also saying that God is incompetent of doing, or God's not doing it on your time. And that's what it comes down to. Well, it's like, you're supposed to die. I'm going to leave it to God's hand. But no, that's not soon enough. Basically, they are taking the role of God in that respect. In terms of belief, when they go out of their way, because these people over here don't believe in their daily living practice. Maybe they bow down on the ground to pray to God. And you go like this, and you're praying to God. And you say, you're a disbeliever, because you're supposed to bow down. So we kill you. That's wrong. And if these people kill you, because you go like this versus bowing down, they are the disbeliever. They are about taking one step further to extinction. Because eventually they'll wind themselves, and that's why I use Adam and Eve. If you're down to two people, and that's why I also use the caveman as a parable or a teaching tool to help teach certain evolutionary understandings or concepts. So in terms of belief, it's in several different, what I can write about belief, the word belief or believe, their Library of Congress wouldn't be big enough because you could expand that in so many areas, so many dimensions. I mean, just take a single word and write a encyclopedia using the word believe. You'll be surprised. I could. I need more than the Library of Congress. It's a good thing we're in digital age because I could put a lot of knowledge onto a little memory chip. So with the electronic books and stuff. So to open up one's mind about the term. Now you can take any word. A word is basically letters that symbolize a particular energy of action or a concept of things or a thinking or ability, or that's why we use, and this is known as communications. You use a word or symbol or colors to bring about more communications, which is like a message within a message within a message within a message. So, like I like to say, is 50 ways to Sunday. There's so many dimensions to a lot of things. So a lot of the terrorists out there, that they're under this concept, and I heard of a Sharia law. I have to go in depth into that. It's like this is how we do it. This is the way we believe. If you don't believe it, you're the disbeliever, and then off with your head. Now, the term off with your head originally was in terms, is a lot of people they struggle at terms of things that they can't see or touch or taste or feel. Okay. So, so when you make reference back then, you make reference to your head is basically your thinking. Your spirit controls the brain controls the body. So when they say off with your head, does that mean you literally cut the person's head off? Or what are you really referring to stop their illogical thinking, their irrational thinking? Just like I gave an explanation or an example using John as a parable. I took John, and say he's my brother. John, why are you mad at these people? And he couldn't give me a real definitive answer as to why. And I say, you need to stop. It's like, and he wouldn't listen to me. And now I'm down to an ultimatum. It's either I kill my brother, and that would be horrible for anyone, especially if it's a family or someone's a friend. It just, say killing on the normal sense of things is wrong. But when does it come to a time when killing is actually part of forever life? That's quite simple. It's quite easy. If I have to kill such and such or someone, and it saves the lives of 50, 100, or 1,000 people, that is a believer, meaning believer of forever life. I mean, I have to cut my loss. And not to mention, what can manifest out of this if John goes over to the village and kill 100 women and children? And he doesn't kill them all. And now they're going to seek revenge. Now they're going to see our village, our people, as being the disbeliever. People who are going out of their way to kill people or take one step further to extinction. And if you don't nip it in the butt, take care of your situation right away, it will spin out of control. As we're learning with the media, spinning things, turning things around, fake media, is you have to stay responsible and stay on it and not have certain things linger. Just a minute. So that will conclude part 2 of the word believe. And hopefully this has enlightened you, opened up your mind, objective and creative mind, to understanding the term belief that is association to evolution. It's also associated with religion. So we'll end it right there. Thank you for your time on this part 2 of belief. And Godspeed.